Okay, so T-Rex and the Quest, I'm not going to dwell on these too long. They both got, like, redesigned T-Rex less than Quest. But T-Rex probably has the best design it ever had in terms of this franchise. Like, it's more chunky, more hefty. They sized it up for some reason. I'm assuming it's a he because, like, it has bolder colors, and the Rexes in these films are bulkier if they're male. Yeah, best Rex design we've ever had, no doubt about it. Maybe Bulk beats it out. Maybe Buck beats it out. There we go. Quetz. Uh, there's rumors it was originally Thanatos Draken, in which case, why? Thanatos Draken is not one of the largest as Darkids, or maybe it is. I don't know too much about that thing. I just know that it's an evolution and has a much better design than this. Quetz, yeah, the design is okay. Would have preferred they just called it Hatzegopteryx. But for some reason, like Henry Loomis is like just like introducing Zora to the mission, like three dinosaurs, and he shows her the fossils, and the Quetz fossil is is the rebirth design, even though that's not scientifically accurate. So, huh? I I'm so confused. What do you what? Why? That's like saying the Titanic was a yacht. Okay, maybe it's not that bad, but still, you're meddling with history. Why'd I go Scottish there? You're meddling with history. Why? Just use the normal, huh? Use the normal fossil. I don't get it. I truly do not understand their decision there. But it's there. Also during that scene, there's like an animation playing in the background, which for some reason displays the dinosaurs on St. Isle Hubert, even though no one's been there. So, kind of a continuity error, slightly. Whatever. In this film, I really thought the Spinos and Moses would have two action sequences. There'd be one at the beginning, which is how they end up shipwrecked, and then they'd find a boat. I thought they'd find like a larger boat and then go off, and that's how the ending battle would go. It's a battle between man versus aquatic dinosaurs and a marine reptile. But nah, they're just there for one sequence. That's kind of the problem all these dinosaurs have. I mentioned this earlier. They will get one sequence each for some reason. Like, what makes a dinosaur in Jurassic films memorable, like the T-Rex, like the Raptors, is that they're present throughout the film. They don't just get one sequence and then they're done with. But yeah, so also that whole symbiotic relationship they have is never really explained because we see five Spinos, four in the ocean, one on the beach. There is five. I don't care what anyone says. So, but only four work with the Moser. So, what? Why? There's four Mosers. Like, if it was one or two, that's fine. You could make up something about, like, the Spinos having better, like, sight in the water. Whatever. That's fine. But there's four of them. They don't need the Moser for protection or anything. They are just there to make the scene more badass. It works, yes, but that still doesn't really make sense. Whatever. Maybe it's like how like a bunch of different predators come like a school of fish. Like you have sharks, swordfish, dolphins, seagulls. Like they'll all go to like a swarm of fish. I saw some like a David Attenborough documentary once. So maybe it's more like that, and Henry was wrong about the whole symbiotic relationship thing. Now, I'm still firmly in the camp that we should have had proper dinosaurs in this film, like Carcharodontosaurus, like Acrosaurus, like fucking Pterodactylus. But the mutants actually won me over. Ooh, I'm so excited to talk about them. Mainly the Mutodon. The Mutodon is the big one, so we'll talk about the D-Rex first. Oh, still not a fan of the design. Like during that first scene, like at the start of the film 17 years ago, which I'm really confused. Is that 17 years ago from now, or 17 years from like 2027? Because it's supposed to be set in 2010. But the thing says, but the like infographic that says, well, the dinosaurs have died is so stupid. Yeah, I hate that. But the infographic says it's been 32 years. Now, JP's 30th anniversary was 2 years ago, meaning 32 years later would be this year. But this film is set 5 years after Dominion, so. Uh. Oh. Wait, maybe it's talking about the San Diego incident, yeah. Even though that would be 30 years later. I don't know. This thing's messed up. So maybe there was an incident in 95 we just never heard about. Although how the public acts around Ian in The Lost World kind of makes that really. I'm like, I don't care. The stupid time card is the worst thing ever. But whatever. The D-Rex in that introductory sequence was kind of giving me like kind of future Predator vibes from Primeval. Kind of surprised that wasn't an influence on the design, given the similarities they have. Like, it's literally just an upscale future Predator. Give it eyes, give it tiny T-Rex arms, give it a tail that you don't even see. So, also the build up to the D-Rex, like Henry sees it in its old containment unit, which, like, sure, I made like that post praising them for actually giving a reason as to why the mutants are still alive. But the more I think about it, that reasoning sucks. Krebs talks about how the reason they're still alive was because like it would be cheaper to do that. Surely it would be cheaper to euthanize, right? Because you're wasting food, wasting containment units on a thing that you're not going to turn a profit on. If this thing was a failure, why would you keep it alive? Did they want to shove it in a big tube like the Mutadons? How the hell did the Mutadons reach that age while having like two heads, 6 limbs? I don't know. Would have just been better if they just kept it the two-headed raptor. But whatever. So yeah. And then so like yeah, it's in the smoke. Then later on. And then when the helicopter's coming, smoke comes over. And then it just shows up like a big dog with a toy in its mouth and it starts shaking it. And it throws it away like a big angry baby. Friggin' love that. And as mentioned before, it like cleans its teeth with like the tiny T-Rex mouths. Probably a callback to The Lost World 1925. Probably a coincidence as well. Equally likely. But yeah, it also doesn't end up in like this big ending fight for some reason. I really thought they would have done that. Although, given how Force Dominions one felt, that's probably for the best we didn't have one. But yeah, that means it's still alive. Roman St. Ela Hubert, Isle Hubert, something Hubert. But yeah, and then the Mutadons. Oh boy, the Mutadons. I hated these things when they first came out. I was just like, if you want winged raptors, use feathers. They do actually fly, and yes, it is stupid. Like, it even lifts off with a raptor. They already look like they shouldn't be able to fly. But the animalistic traits they give it, that's what I love about them. I'm going to talk about one scene in particular that comes to mind. The Mutadon goes into the grocery store gas station thingy, and then it knocks over this like display that makes noise, and then it investigates it to see if it's food. That's lovely. And then when Isabella, I think, the little girl with Dolores, so she closes the door. Mutadon notices it. The light is off, so the Mutadon just sees its reflection. It starts like it has this like sack thing, and it starts like inflating it, almost like a mating display or a threat display. Before it gets distracted, I love that so much. That is better That's better portrayal than literally any carnivore in the World trilogy, aside from Battle of Big Rock and maybe the shows. I don't know. Been a while since I watched those, but that won me over. That instantly sold me on the mutadons. And then there's some other mutants in this film. We see this weird salamander with a fin twice. Maybe it's meant to be a baby Spino. I don't know, really. But there's another one that the Jurassic Park wiki just labels as unidentified eel. At first, I thought it was going to be Titanoboa, which would have been a first Cenozoic for the films. Of course, in the mobile games and Smilodons and Camp Cretaceous. But we never see it. Like, it swims up to them, and then we get a shot later, like, when they leave, of it swimming, and you think, oh, it's going to come back later. It doesn't. But I'm also not certain it's an eel. It's like, hold on. Yeah. Eels move like this, right? But from what I remember, it moves horizontally. So, huh? What kind of eel moves like that? But, yeah, I guess it's an eel. And the salamander, as mentioned before. Now, there are a few cameo dinosaurs that have occurred in like every film since the beginning, starting with Para. Oh, you have Pteranodon. We have two. I just want to talk about dinosaurs on the mainland for a minute. We see three? Yeah, three. Two of them are dead. Well, four, technically. Yeah, four. Actually, only one of them is a dinosaur. We see an Apatosaurus dead. I'll get into the whole dinosaurs not being suited for the mainland thing later. See an Apatosaur dead. We see Dunkleosteus getting fished out of the water. And it's decapitated. How long have I been recording for? 12 minutes. Okay, I've been recording for 12 minutes. The dunk is just a decapitated head in this. Hang on. So yeah, the Dunkleosteus appears as a head for some reason. And Duncan also implies that there are megalodons living in the Jurassic oceans. So that's kind of neat, because he points to like the skull or just the teeth that are in like that bar. I forgot where it is, but he points to the teeth in that bar, and he says like, I can save you from a live one, or something like that. And we also see like a juvenile pteranodon, which for some reason uses the Lost World design instead of like, it's just a scaled down Lost World pteranodon instead of like the babies we see in JP3. That's kind of annoying. But we also see a pteranodon on Isle St. Hubert. We also see some other cameos like Dilophosaurus and Ankylosaurus, and of course the raptors, which I'm actually surprised they aren't the worst handled prehistoric creature in this, that being the dunk. All we see is the decapitated head. Why? Why did it have to be a Dunkleosteus? Huh? And it's not like we see a living one later on. It's just a Dunkleosteus swimming in the seas. Probably multiple. We don't even know what killed it. Huh? I don't get it. I don't understand why it had to be a dunk. And I haven't even talked about the other newcomers. Aqualops. Pretty good, pretty solid design. I haven't like looked at a proper Aqualops, so I can't really comment on accuracy. But I think it's pretty good from what I've heard. Like, the only complaint I really have is the two horns, but I don't know if Aqualops had that. Also a bit too similar to Microceratus for my liking. I don't know. And like the head is like, no, not the head, the eyes are so large like the Microceratus. Because I'm pretty sure that for the Microceratus they placed it in the nasal cavity. I think, I don't know, like that hole that's like before the beak. Pretty sure they placed the eye there. That's weird. Hmm. But yeah, Dilophosaur, Anki, just some cameos, and like I'm fine if returning dinosaurs have cameos, as long as they aren't redesigned. If the Raptors just used a pre-existing design, that's fine. Do whatever you want. But it's because they redesigned them. Why would you do that if you know we're not gonna like get a good look at them? What? Just use like Delta or Blue or the JP3 Raptor. Don't go out of your way to make a new Velociraptor we're probably never gonna see again. But there is one dinosaur I've yet to talk about. Gnuragnathus. Yeah, it's alright. It's like a really small pterosaur. It only appears for like 5 seconds. Unless there's like bats that fly at the teenage girl, also a Gnuragnathus. Agnurog. I think Agnurog. I think Agnuragnathus. I think that's how you pronounce it. Maybe. Whatever. Yeah. Uh, it's not really on screen for too much. The wiki has a render, though I'm not sure if that's official. It's more paleo accurate than primeval inspired, which, yeah, that's something to compliment. But talk about dinosaurs does the lead. Oh wait, hold on, wait. There's one thing I forgot. So Jurassic has this unspoken rule where if a dinosaur appears for 3 films straight, you have to use it in every subsequent film. T-Rex, Para, Anki, what the one from the Lost World. It's the Pteranodon and Stego. Stegosaur is not in this film. Why? Where is my Platy boy? He's appeared in every other film minus the first. Huh? Where's my Stego? I like my Platy boy. Whatever. Like all he appears in this like a cartoon. Also, these like animations they play at the museum, like they show like the rebirth design. I've talked about this before. They show Isle Saint Hubert. At first, I thought those were Tyrannosaurs, but they're obviously Spinosaurs. Although, to be fair, the Camp Cretaceous Tyrannosaurs do have a similar color palette, but I think they may be AI generated. I don't know for sure, but kind of. They give off that vibe of like that Studio Ghibli AI art. I really, really hope they're not AI. And I'm probably wrong about them being AI. But yeah, this does bring me to my final point. The biggest sin this movie commits